So in this video, I'll be going over the third question in set 2 of the 2023 Advanced Placement Comparative Government and Politics True Response questions. This one's about legislative governments. This is the comparison question. So number 3, compare how legislative systems vary in their selection process and restrictions on their power in two different Advanced Placement Comparative Government and Politics course countries. In your response, you should do the following. So for A, describe the main function of the legislative branch of government in most countries. What a response around this could look like is the main function of the legislative branch of government in most countries is to create laws, approve laws, debate laws from certain policies. Basically, the legislature is to create the laws, everything to do with the creation and the shaping of the laws is done with the legislatures. B. Describe the selection process of members of the lower or single house of the legislative branch in two advanced placement comparative government and politics course countries. So the lower house, this would be basically United Kingdom. This could be the House of Commons, the Duma in Russia. This would be Nigeria. That would be a lower house. The Chamber of Deputies in Mexico, and then Iran is the single house, the Majlis, and then the People's Congress in China is also a single house. So the countries I selected here are just simple ones. I mean, you can go around them all, and I probably should review them all. I do have videos on a lot of these countries. So I picked the United Kingdom. Basically, members of parliament run in each district, and then the people with the most votes, you will win. If you have the most votes in your district, you win, and there you go. Just a plurality is needed. For the Russian Federation, plurality of the votes in districts where members run in, as well as a proportion of the votes received for the members of the political party at the national level, based on the number of votes you get for your political party. Then you get seats in the Duma, and that's where your people go. The other countries, China, not really elections there. Iran, mainly single district. There's some multi-member districts where there's multiple members who get elected. Chamber of Deputies, it's similar to Russia, the single-member districts, and then the proportional representation. Nigeria is the single-member districts. I believe I have them all. Yeah, that should be all of them. And then C, explain the extent to which legislative power is formally constrained in the two advanced placement comparative and government and politics course countries described B. I'm going to explain the two countries I selected. If you want more review on how any of the other countries work, I do have videos for them, so you can take a look. So for C, I put in the United Kingdom, there is, to a small extent, legislative power is formally constrained. The reason why is the United Kingdom, the legislature basically rules the country. The executive comes from the legislature. There might be some courts, but there's a lot of that parliamentary sovereignty where the parliament rules everything. There's no written constitution, so it's to a much smaller extent. There might be a few ways it's constrained, but it's not. There's not a lot of constraint between it and its powers versus the other. How the other branches of government are constraining it. As for the Russian Federation, that's to a much larger extent as a result of the executive, the president being able to veto laws, and prime minister is appointed by the executive for the legislature, the leader of the legislature. The legislature can be dissolved. Other items such as that, there is more of a court there, which is trying to be independent from. There's a constitution of Russia where there isn't in the United Kingdom, so that's more of that. As for the country, I don't believe I have a video for. Nigeria, similar, there's two, the legislature, there are two bodies of it, two houses, but the president can really rule on a lot of different topics, and then the courts can rule on, positive, what the legislature is doing, if that's legal or if it's not legal. So there's a lot more. But the United Kingdom is really that one country. I mean, we could, I guess theoretically, it's kind of jumbled in China, but I think that one country where it's really fused, the legislature might be the most powerful item, is in the United Kingdom.